Well, thanks very much, Aradhna, for coming up to Leicester today and giving up your Saturday. Sounds a bit grown up to my mind, managing director, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Does it feel grown up to you?
It sounds like a very big job, just for me, but it's a very, very exciting one. So I feel very privileged and honoured to be
Excellent. Well, we're going to find out a little bit about what it is. Just for disclosure, Aradhna and I met on the board of the Radio Academy and got really stuck into some amazing projects like the Audio and Radio Emergency Fund. Broadly speaking, raised £100,000 and gave it away in small grants for people who are suffering with the impacts of the lockdowns and couldn't get to the studios and needed to stay home and all that kind of thing. So the world of the Radio Academy is very familiar to us, but let's establish what the Radio Academy is in its 40th year, I think, which is amazing. And then we can sort of explore the relevancy to our audience here today to the Radio Academy. So a little kind of summary of what the Radio Academy is.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really exciting to be sharing this here because obviously the CMA is 40 years, as is the Radio Academy. So we are a charity. We are 40 years old. We were founded in 1983. And our mission is to promote excellence in audio. So what does that mean? It means that we're here. The Radio Academy supports people making great audio and getting audio out into the world. So all of you here. We do it through a number of different ways. We have a very, very busy calendar of events. We run award ceremonies, the ARIAs, the Audio and Radio Industry Awards every year. We have our 30 Under 30 where we celebrate the ones to watch. We have the Young Audio Awards. It's really exciting through the day hearing how many of you and the stations here are supporting young people and children coming into audio. So do look out for the Young Audio Awards where we celebrate their achievements. And we are really, really here to support people, as I said, in audio. We have a mentoring program, we run training days, we have a lot of resources on our website as well. And for everyone here, the Radio Academy is really delighted to provide free affiliate membership to everyone who is a CMA member. So you can sign up and join the Radio Academy and get the benefit of everything that we offer for free as a CMA member.
Great. Well, thank you for that. Now, that I suppose goes into the answer to the next question about what is the relevancy. Now, I have a passion for linking organizations that can, combine outcomes. And I was co-opted. You were elected to, rather superior to me. I was co-opted onto the board, really to represent local. I think that's what it was. And obviously having travelled and visited many local radio stations around the country. So we talk about the free membership and the access to those opportunities. But this year, as a result of internal pressure, we've got the Community Radio Award into the ARIA. So I think that sort of represents a new level of engagement. But is there anything else that those in the non-profit, the community-orientated, the volunteer-orientated sector it can be involved with the Academy and is relevant to them? In the old days, perhaps the perception was that the Academy was there for the big boys in commerce and of course, the BBC. But, I know things are changing. Do you want to elaborate?
Well, the thing is, actually, it's always been the charity that represents people in audio. And I don't see any difference between all of the different groups, because ultimately the reason that we're all here today on a Saturday is because we really love audio, we care about audio, we believe in and respect the power of audio and audio storytelling with our listeners in communities, what it brings to us to be able to tell our stories, to be able to communicate other people's stories and have them shared with us. That's kind of what joins us all together through music, through speech, through drama. And what the Radio Academy is there for, and I really believe this, and I hope that, I'm 3 months in the job at the moment, so bear with me. And also, please come and tell me, what else is it that you think that the Radio Academy should or could be doing? What we're here for is to be able to help support the people who are working or volunteering in audio to be able to communicate and share an audio message. And with regards to, we absolutely 100% support people who are working in the BBC, the big commercial stations, in podcasting, and in student radio, and in community radio, and in community podcasting, audio, and wider internet stations. And why is that not us or them? Well, it's because I really believe that all of those different outlets of audio, we all form an ecology. It's all part of the audio world, and no one station can, or I think should, do everything for everyone. There is diversity in our society, in our audiences, in our listeners, and in us, the creators. So no one person, nothing that I do is going to speak to everybody, but when we work together, we each hit a little bit of it, and we have those little overlaps, and we partner, and we do some exciting things together. And so that is why it's really important to bring everyone together, and that the voice of a community radio station in one particular geographic location, or serving one particular, demographic background, is as important in that conversation and in the development of that, their skills, as someone in a big national BBC or commercial station. And if we all work together, then we as a whole, as an audio industry, can better serve, society and the public.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about diversity in the context of the Academy and the audio and radio industry, but it's actually kind of leads us nicely to where I wanted to have a quick kind of conversational moment with you, because I know you've worked with me on diversity and inclusion and how to ensure that we've got a kind of the right kind of culture at the centre of operations. People, there's a lot of talk about diversity and inclusion, and it's like, oh, that's something we've got to do now, But to my mind, it's something that it's easier to get a culture right in the first place, having given it good thought, than perhaps change an existing culture. So, as somebody who actually has a background and an expertise in this, what could you advise those of us who are looking to be perhaps more inclusive organisations, or indeed because we're starting organisations to be as inclusive as we can be?
Yeah, so just for a bit of context, before I took the job as MD of the Radio Academy, I ran, and I still do run, my own consultancy, Cockhouse Media, and I work with different organisations on their engagement strategy. It is funny, it amuses and slightly dismays me when you hear this thing of, oh, we need to do diversity and inclusion now, and then it's given an abbreviation, a little tick box next to it. The thing is, it is phenomenally important, and I think that in many ways, everybody here, most likely, you're dedicated to working within certain communities. You get that because often the reason that is needed within a community is because it's missed by, the bigger commercial brands, perhaps. I think when it comes to how do we do it, well, how do you instill it? Why is it important? It's not necessarily a tick box. It's about saying if we don't have creative diversity within our radio station, then how can we possibly reflect the creative diversity of the audience and of society? And even within, if you say, okay, well, we've got one particular niche that we're trying to serve, that's great. Do you really believe that you can only serve that by being one particular type and not having diversity within that team? Because then actually within each community, there's a whole breadth of different perspectives and different backgrounds. So that's why it's really important. I think the reason that we have traditionally, and this continues, an issue within the audio industry is because frankly, the audio industry hasn't been available to many people. You've needed a certain level of privilege to get into an industry. And I think that's the issue that, you know, we're now saying, okay, well, how do we address that, and how do we make sure that we have got diversity within that industry, within each radio station, within each, you know, sort of organisation. One of the things that the Radio Academy is here for is to advance equity in the industry and amongst communities. There's a huge way that you can help is by skills development. And again, today we've heard a lot about community stations, not just, you know, putting out great programming and serving the communities and the listeners, but also bringing people in and giving them the tools and the skills and the training and the confidence, not to have their voice just reflected, but to be able to use their own voice to tell their own story, and to be able to have the skills to do that themselves rather than trying to rely on someone else and wait for their turn to come and be a guest. So I think that's really important. Keep doing that. Come and talk to the Radio Academy as well. We've got several events coming up, and again, as Radio Academy members, these are open to you. We've got a Foot in the Door event, which is coming to Leeds week on Wednesday the 8th of November. The purpose of that is for people new to the industry or very early career, whether it is in a paid role or whether it's in the not-for-profit sector. Everyone is welcome if you're interested in creating and broadcasting radio. And you'll learn about all of the different areas. What's the best technology to use? How do you use it? How can I get my brand out? How can I develop on social media? How can I run a music station? What are the legal concerns that I need to know about? All of those things that nobody will teach you otherwise.
Yeah. And there's probably a stack load more events coming up. There's a couple to teasers there. Obviously, there's a Radio Academy website for more than loads of social. But before our business is closing here, I wanted to see if there are any questions for Aradhna. Do put your hand up if you've got anything. We've stunned them into a kind of a state of excited apathy. No questions? Come on. Here we go. Of course, Liza's going to ask a question.
Having been a member of the Radio Academy for a couple of years, I've obviously watched a lot of progress, but I think it's worth illuminating also that there is access, isn't there, for people from underprivileged backgrounds. So is there anything for Foot in the Door in particular that would enable somebody who's a student, lower income background, getting in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think access is probably one of the biggest issues when it comes to, you know, diversity inclusion in the industry. Back to your point, one of the things that we have already started doing, and I'd like to do more of, is making sure that we make bursaries available. So, for example, we have our Radio Academy Festival, which I know some of you were at in September. So there are bursaries available to apply for, and that includes help with travel and accommodation, as well as a free ticket. And that's a full ticket to be able to come and be in the room. You're not another person, somebody else. That is a full ticket. And then we're also providing similar opportunities, not just for our own events, but for others. So I'm also the director of Radio TechCon, but completely separate to me for several years now. Lovely. The Radio Academy provides a number of bursary places to be able to attend Radio TechCon. It's not one of our events, but we recognise that there are many of these events, and not everybody gets to go to them.
Okay, just thank you for that. TechCon's coming up, isn't it? We need to finish.
27th November.
We need to bring this to an end, but let's fast forward 5 years and or into the future. And you look back on your time, whenever that comes to an end with the Academy. What do you hope most to achieve?
I want to see a united industry. What I was saying earlier about, I think there's too much division in my mind. This is why I came into this role. This is what I'm really excited about. I don't see that there should be divisions, us and them, BBC over there, commercial over there, community over here. You know, we're all in the business of audio storytelling, reaching listeners through, you know, our voices and our music and our stories. I want to see more unity, at least within our organisation. You know, competitive edges are brilliant, but let's support each other more. And I want the Radio Academy at the heart of that, making sure that everyone feels part of it and supported.
More unity, more collaboration, fantastic ethics. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Aradhna, Tayal, Leach.
Thank you.